Hey, Fellowship Asheville, welcome to season 3 of the ConvoCast. In the ConvoCast, we hope to inspire you with what God is doing in and through the people of Fellowship Asheville. And this one is a bonus episode. In season 1, we met the elders. And so this is a bonus episode kind of for season 1 here at the end of season 3, because I am introducing you to Jason Monstrola. He is new to the elder team. So Jason, if you want to tell us a little bit about who you are to those watching or listening.
Sure. My name is Jason Monstrola. I am married. I have 3 kids. My wife and I have been married for 14 years. We just had an anniversary, so I had to think about that for a second. So yeah, our oldest is 13, and then we have 2 who are 11. I work for Buncombe County Schools in finance, but with an emphasis in technology. I kind of have like a dual role there. So it's never a dull moment with that.
Yeah.
Especially these last couple of years.
Yes. Yeah. So when you say an emphasis in technology, did you have a key role in moving teachers to virtual environments and stuff like that?
Not really.
Okay.
That was because I'm more in the finance world.
Okay.
So I didn't really have much to do with that. But like we recently, it's been about 6 months now, we took accounts payable completely paperless. And so I had a big part in that. So that was kind of one of the big hurdles that we tackled this year.
I bet. Yes, that does sound like a big hurdle. Well, Jason, first of all, anything else? So you have let's say 13-year-old and 2 11-year-olds. So basically you've got a house full of teenagers.
Well, yeah, they're all,
Yeah.
We're getting close.
Yeah.
I grew up in Michigan. Once I was an adult, I realized that I really don't like winter. And so I moved down south.
Winter seems to be one of Michigan's specialties.
Yeah, they're pretty good at it.
Yeah. Tell us something that most people don't know about you.
I guess I could say I like to garden. When we bought our house, I did not consider myself like a gardening green thumb type person, but our house came with lots of flower beds that I was like,
really?
I have to do something with these. And so they started out as mostly just rock gardens, and then over the time they've kind of turned into more like real garden looking gardens. And so it's just kind of this hobby that I've learned to appreciate over the years, and it's kind of fun.
Well, yeah. Do you have favorites in the garden?
I like the stuff. I like perennials because they come back every year.
Yeah. Those
are my favorite. Yeah. The ones that just free flowers every spring.
Yeah. That's very good. Yeah, I always love daffodils, particularly this time of year, because it's like this little yellow flower of hope that winter is coming to an end, and spring is coming, which
I think if I had to pick a favorite, tulips would be my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Because I went to college at Hope College in Holland, Michigan. And so they had a huge tulip festival, like massive tulip festival every spring. And so I just have this appreciation for tulips.
Oh, that's fun. I've always, I didn't know Holland, Michigan was an option. I've always wanted to go to Holland during tulip season, because I hear it's pretty spectacular. Holland, like Europe, not Michigan. Yeah. Well, how did you come to know Jesus?
I became a believer in college. I did not grow up in a Christian home. But I actually attended a Christian college mostly because I liked I wanted to go to a smaller school. I just liked the feel of campus, and I had a lot of friends who were Christians, but it wasn't until my junior year that I kind of really started to wrestle with like, what do I believe and why do I believe it? And some friends introduced me, invited me to some things at their church, and it really got me to think through things. And for those who might be familiar with it, it was the Alpha program that I went
Oh
through.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm very interested. Matt's leading an alpha group at Montreat right now with Matt the Younger, leading a group with soccer players, I believe. And so I'm very, very intrigued by it. And
and so
tell me.
it was a program I still am to some degree, but even more so back in college. Like I was a very logical person, and like for me it was a process of, okay, logically reasoning, like I can reason through this and this makes sense to me, meant like in my head, like Jesus and his resurrection and his life, it makes sense, I can believe that that's true. But like it took me weeks and maybe even months, depending on how you read the timeline, to like for my heart to really figure that out in itself. And so it was spring break of 2002, not 22.
Wow.
2002 that I kind of accepted Jesus. And
that's like, so you're like 20 years old in the Lord then. Yeah, that's cool. Well, so you are new to the elder team. Tell people, first of all, welcome to the team. It's fun to have you. How did you kind of walk through the process for you of saying yes to becoming an elder?
Okay. I mean, if we're being honest, I had a couple of people that are on the elder team who kind of brought it up to me, and at first I was like, no. Just because I don't know that I ever really saw myself in that light. And and then you gave me that book about being an elder and things like that, and I was like, okay, well, I'll at least read it. But no,
Yeah.
And I read the book, and I was like, okay, well, I owe Fred a conversation. We certainly have to talk about this. We're just gonna hang out there, and and so it was just a process for me of like discerning that and kind of wrestling with do I have something to offer the church? Like, do I have something that can be added, that can add to the church? And I as having conversations with the other elders and talking through things, I just felt like God was saying, yeah, you do have something to say. That doesn't sound right. Like God's doing all the work, but God just kind of led me to believe that I could help serve the church in that way. And so that's how we ended up.
Yeah. It's interesting because scriptures say, for the person that desires to be an overseer, that's a good thing. The way we do this process, just for those who are watching and listening, just so you know, the elders nominate people basically. And it's the people that we see are already eldering in the church. We just kind of ask them, would you like to join the team and help us elder on kind of a church-wide scale? And so your name came up. I mean, I can't remember how long ago it was when your name came up, which is probably about the time those first couple of conversations happened. And to hear you say that you said no to those initial conversations, I love that. I think some of the greatest leaders and some of the most humble leaders in God's kingdom said no first, because of exactly what you said. It is, I don't see myself doing that. I don't know. And then you did what humble leaders do and start praying about it and start seeking information. And there's something that happens in that process, that we do kind of have this we see this shift of posture of like, well, maybe God is working in this, and it just creates this desire to continue to rely on the Lord and to please him in this, which is what an elder is. I tell you, if we ever ask anybody and something and they go, well, it's about time you asked, like that would be a no. That would be a no.
On second
So
thought.
yeah, on second thought, never mind. But just so the church knows too, what we do is when we, a person is nominated elders, the elders vote on it, that this person becomes a candidate for an elder. And then person from the elder team meets with them and gives them this really small book that is really good, by 9 marks about eldering, and introduces them to the idea of eldering. We don't hold to everything in that book, but it's a pretty good, concise, biblical overview about what an elder is. And then we ask that person to read the book and pray, and then it takes as long as it needs to take. And like for your case, it was almost a year in the whole process, wasn't it?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. And then if they say yes, they meet with other elders and ask questions and do interviews, and meet with the entire elder team, with their spouse, to do an interview, because the spouse becomes a really important part in this. Because as you rise up to this area of service, it's real easy to be under a whole lot more spiritual attack. And so you need your best friend and teammate there with you to be a part of it and to say yes. And so then once that happens, the elders vote, and then it becomes public knowledge that you're part of this process, and we allow people to speak into that. And then if all that goes well, you're an elder, and all of it went well. So congratulations to being to the
Thanks.
team. Any surprises about the process of becoming an elder?
I guess I just, I don't really know what I was expecting, but at first I was like, I appreciated that it took a while. Like I appreciated the fact that it wasn't just like, oh, we all sit down and talk one time. And then to some degree, I appreciated that there was kind of this back and forth discussion, and it wasn't just like this, like we took the time to really like get to know, you guys took the time to get to know me, and you all were available for me to talk to you on several different occasions. And like, I just appreciated the willingness to do all of that. So
yeah. So it was a surprise to you that it took that long? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I guess no, not really.
Was it a surprise that it was frustrating?
A good surprise, I guess.
Appreciated?
Yeah. It was a
yeah. It is. It's both appreciated and frustrating at times, for sure. So Jason, at this point, when we've recorded this, you've been to one elders meeting. Any surprises about your first elders meeting that you can share?
I didn't expect
publicly?
Cupcakes.
Yeah, it was also my birthday, so yes, carrot cakes, cupcakes. Actually, your family's recipe.
Yeah, my family's recipe.
Yes. It's my favorite by far.
I don't know. I don't know that I really had any surprises. I mean, I got a little bit of a download from one of the other elders beforehand to kind of fill me in on some of the what we've been talking about recently. And so there wasn't a huge didn't necessarily feel like I was drinking from a fire hose because of those couple of those backstories. So
yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad there weren't any surprises. That means the process did what it was supposed to do. Well, let me ask you this: what have you enjoyed? Because you've been serving here at Fellowship for years. Well, when did y'all start coming to Fellowship? Do you remember?
It was about 6 years. It was January of 6 years ago.
Oh, wow.
2016.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So, wow. All right. So it's been a minute. What have you enjoyed? Because you have been a growth group leader, you've served in other areas of ministry. What have you enjoyed about serving here at Fellowship?
I have just enjoyed getting to know people and connect with people, and and kind of see relationships grow over time. And I've enjoyed, like, I've served on the safety team. Yes, we've done growth groups, and I've been in a couple different ones, and I've enjoyed getting to see people kind of to grow alongside people, and to see myself grow and to see them grow, and just being able to connect with people that way.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, if you were to describe, I've asked this question to everyone that's part of Fellowship Asheville that I've gotten a chance to do a ConvoCast with. How would you describe Fellowship Asheville in one word or phrase?
I should have done my homework and gone back and looked at everybody else's.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm going to go with authentic.
Authentic.
I just appreciate people's willingness to share where they are, and even if that's not pretty, like, to just kind of lay it out there, and this is where we are.
I love that about our church too. I do. Well, anything else you want to add?
I just really appreciate the church and the chance to serve in this way, and I'm just looking forward to. I've realized over the past several weeks that, like, now that we're kind of coming out of COVID and everything, it's like I need to get to know a whole lot more people, because there's like all kinds of new faces that I'm like, have they just been online, or are they new? I know there's a bunch of new people, and so I'm also looking forward to getting to know people. So
there really have been. I think a lot of people joined us online during COVID and have been coming back ever since we reopened, and they just kind of have been coming back as they feel more and more comfortable. Well, if you would like to get in touch with Jason, if you're watching or listening, we've changed the way to do this. On our website, we used to have elders and deacons, their personal emails, but apparently somebody somewhere was getting a hold of those emails and sending spam to them. So now what you do is there is an email address on our website called elders@fellowshipasheville.com. If you want to talk to Jason, send an email there, and then that email goes to our chairman, who is Jared Buckner, and then he'll send it to whoever needs to send it. So if you want to send it to Jason, just put in the subject line for Jason, and Jared will forward it on to him. Other than that, I want to thank you for joining us for our ConvoCast. Just so you know, these will be coming out sporadically from here on out. We've been doing it about every 2 weeks for a while now, and we're kind of moving into season with summer approaching and all of that. We're just going to kind of do them as needed from this point. But if you want to keep up with them, you can click like or subscribe on YouTube or iTunes, wherever it is that you're watching, and you will continually be notified whenever we put new content out there, like the ConvoCast. So like and subscribe, or like or subscribe, depending on how you're engaging with this, and we'll keep you up to date with things. Other than that, I hope y'all have a great day or evening, and I just want you to know I love you, and I love being in the church with you, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.